Welcome back to Good Morning San Diego. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a law aimed at preventing gas price spikes by requiring oil refiners to maintain a minimum fuel inventory and better plan for maintenance. Now, joining us now to explain the new law and how it could impact our state is Justin Isaac from the Lawyer in Blue Jeans Group. Good morning, Justin. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Okay, so we've reported on this quite a bit. This is ABX1-1, you know, just to give it its official title.
Yeah.
But this was where the governor was saying and touting, hey, we saw these spikes in gas prices, and most of that was due to when the refineries shut down their refineries for maintenance.
Yeah.
And so he's saying if we could require them to keep certain fuel amounts, then we're going to not see the prices spike.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of mixed feedback on this. What do you say?
There's a lot of people who are opposed to this. Obviously, there's people in favor of this if it actually does what it's supposed to do. We've heard this many times when it comes to any new law or regulation in California, that there are often unintended consequences. And the governor of Nevada, the governor of Arizona urged Gavin Newsom not to sign this. That kind of tells me something there too. There's a lot of regulatory issues that could come up with this because refineries are all a little bit different. The smaller refineries could get squeezed out because they can't afford some of these new requirements and they can't keep up with the maintenance or hire enough staff, or they might have to let people go depending on the situation. So it could increase or decrease the amount of refiners that are out there, which means that there's less people in the market, which means that prices don't always...
I mean, I look at this and say, well, hello, Economics 101, price and demand.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to make sense. But, you know, you have people that are for this saying, hey, we're going to require them to do this. But that's assuming also, according to critics, that they're going to comply. And as you said, a lot of these refineries have just closed up shop and said, hey, you know, I'm done with California's over-regulation.
Yeah. A lot of economists would say let the market do their thing. Let the market work for itself and don't have this artificial actor within the market that creates this price floor even. And so when you have this mandate of a certain minimum, then, well, those minimums have to be hit. And sometimes you have to buy then on the open market when prices might already be up because of a hurricane or whatever the event might be. There's natural events that come up all the time, and price fluctuations do happen, but they're claiming that if these price fluctuations didn't happen last year, we would have saved billions of dollars, and they're directly attributing it to not maintaining minimums when the refineries were doing maintenance. So, you know, I don't know if that's exactly translating one-to-one, but there's a lot of things that could come up when you add new regulation, when you have a new agency who has to kind of govern this whole thing. And so many things could come up in the meantime, and a lot of costs might be associated with new maintenance or new creation of facilities to hold and maintain extra fuel. So that means that those costs are probably going to be passed on to the consumer.
I mean, that's why, you know, it's always funny to me when people are so shocked they go to other states and they're like, oh, I'm paying two bucks a gallon, you know? And I'm like, well, yeah, if you look at other states, there, you know, the average is typically $2 lower than what we're paying here in the state of California. And I know we have a lot more drivers, so we need to be more environmentally conscious, but it comes at a big price tag. And I think drivers are just worried, you know, more regulation might be a reason for those prices to go up.
Well, it definitely could lead to that, and when we have these extra costs associated, extra taxes that we pay for our gas, because we pay, I think it's a minimum of $1.25 more just in taxes per gallon alone. I think a lot of people want to see the result of that. We want to see better roads. We want to see the things that we're actually paying for, or we were told we're paying for. And that's part of my frustration, is that the roads are not great for how much we pay in taxes. And all these new bonds keep on going on every year or every election cycle for, you know, to improve things. So we kind of want to know what we're paying for. But this is one of those hidden regulations that could lead to more costs in the long term. It's aimed to decrease the price fluctuations and the profit that they're saying that the refineries are making, but I'm not sure that's the case.
Well, I guess the good news here, if you're one of those people against this new law, is that it is written in there that it needs to be reevaluated.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think they should have that for every law, personally.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Let's revisit this in a year and see how our law did.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that is a bit of a silver lining.
Yeah, the sunset provisions definitely allow for us to kind of evaluate, did this work? Did this do what it needed to do? And then we can kind of take it from there.
Okay, well, hopefully that will give us some comfort at night.
Yeah,
Justin, thank you so much for the
you.
insight. Appreciate it.
Of course.